Hi, this is Sachii here, and today I am working on my cash envelopes using vellum paper. So I have printed out as many as I need, but as you can see, the my printer is acting up and or is out of ink. According to the ink charts, it is not out of ink, but if you hear noise in the background, it might be the printer because I'm asking it to clean it. So what I did was I printed out the design on vellum paper, and what I'm going to do is, because the ink didn't turn out correctly, I'm going to go over it with watercolor. And then I talked to a few people that make these envelopes, and I will attempt to remake them again using a paper backing. For example, like this was written on, but if you fold a piece of paper in half and then you put the vellum on it, it should work. But and create a laminate without having to do all the extra steps that I added, because I was watching a YouTuber do it, but they're not making their designs as complicated as mine, so it was significantly easier. Whereas for me, yeah, I'm still coughing. I have my appointment on the 30th. Whereas for me, I will most likely just keep it to one lamination envelope, just because it makes my life significantly easier and whatnot. So here we are. I don't where is my really small paintbrush? There it is. Okay, it was hiding behind there. After I do this, I'm gonna clean out my paintbrushes because they're disgusting. Okay, so let's start off with this. Honestly, I like the effect of the printer not working, but at the same time too, I do know that it's it's not as aesthetic, so I'm gonna have to just paint over it, and I don't mind that, except for the fact that my handwriting kind of looks like this, but mine's messier and smaller, so I'm just gonna have to be really patient with myself when I redo this. Okay, so that is... When I did the trial runs of these, and these are probably still going to be trial runs, just because I talked to a few people that do this for a living, and they said that it takes a while to figure out that how to work with laminate, and especially since I've got a dog, it adds an extra layer of madness to this. Okay, so that one's done. Let me let that dry, and I'll do this one first. I'll do this one while that one dries, and then we'll just continue moving back and forth, up and down on this particular sheet. Let it dry, work on the next one, and so on and so forth. So the thing I like about painting it this way is, one, I am biased, but I think it looks really pretty. Two, it's individualized, so even though the design's the same for all of them, and my intention is to switch it up, because like when it comes to the car maintenance one, I actually wanted that to be more of a steampunk clock interface, but I don't really have the confidence to do it yet. So and then I'm also working on some, I can't remember what you call it, seamless designs, I think they're called, so that I can make Art Nouveau tiles for these, but that's a later me issue right now. Right now I just need to make sure that I get the vellum, that I get this okay and presentable. But for now, let's see, okay, that looks good. I just need to let it dry a bit. While I'm waiting for it to dry, I'll work on the next set. I'm going to work on 2 sets at once, just because it's I need to make sure these dry. These are vellum that are designed for printer ink instead of the inkjet or the laser printers, because I don't have the money yet to get the laser printer, and also too, I I really want to make all of these handmade, and so I'm actually kind of happy, as weird as it sounds, that the color is acting up. So, just because it forces me to do all of these by hand. And also it's a lesson in patience. There are, I think I printed, it looks like I printed 6 pages of these. So if I'm working 2 at a time, yeah. But I found out that my paper cutter is actually not broken, and they actually gave me the right one. I just couldn't figure out how to open it, so there's that. And last one, holidays. I did my tax refund today, and usually I get, the past few years I've been getting roughly about 500, 600, even though I actually make quite a decent amount of income, even though my finances aren't good, but that's just because of poor financial decisions. I'm getting over 1,000, which I'm going to use to get myself out of this financial hole and start building my savings up. According to what I rubbed it? Okay. According to what I'm anticipating, I should be in the 1,000 range when it comes to... Oh, I just painted that. Okay. I should be in the thousands range by mid-March when it comes to my paycheck. And then after that, once I get into that range, I can start moving things to my my sinking funds and my emergency savings, and I will be very, very happy with myself. I hope this is dry. Okay. And I'm pretty sure this is not this is like a green blue, but you know what? I don't care. Well, I do care because I'm doing this again. I'm probably going to go over it with the green. In fact, let's see. What's the difference between this green and that green? That one's... I like the green blue better, but just need to figure out how... I'm going to connect all these together, and then I'm going to make it darker. So I've never taken classes, well, I kind of took a class in watercolor when I was younger, when I was about, I would say 14. I won an art competition that sent me a week to a school that taught me specifically how to do art. And I did a few pieces that involved ducks and chickens. And I used watercolor pencil, but it was my first foray into watercolor. I actually really didn't get into it until I had an overseas job in Germany, and I couldn't bring a lot of things because it was a temporary job, and at the time I was really big into charcoals, and because charcoals is actually my background, as much as I complain about I don't like dark colors, but it is where my background lies in any sort of paint. And I just decided to, you know, I needed something to do to keep my time, so I actually knitted my nephew a baby blanket, and that took almost 4 months because it was really intricate. It was a teal and yellow beehive design, and it was huge. It is probably my proudest creation to make, because my nephew is one of the most important people to me, but also to just the sheer amount of time and dedication it took to make. My nephew doesn't sleep with it because it's so delicate, and my sister doesn't want to ruin it, but it hangs very prominently. Shoot. Okay. Ah, my gosh. Okay. Well, that's not. it hangs very prominently on his bedside. Because my sister's like, it's too pretty not to display. So because when shoot, okay, gonna have to clean that up later. That's infuriating, but that's 100% my fault. This is why when you do watercolor, you have to go start from as far away from your dominant hand as possible. But as I've mentioned before, rules are not my thing. So let's try this. It probably won't be noticeable when I add the extra stuff. I mean, it probably will, but you know what? I'm trying to make myself feel better right now. But yeah, so, it took me about 4 months to do. It's probably my favorite thing. It lies on his bed, like on the edge of his bed so that he doesn't touch it. But I also knitted him a teddy bear too. He actually uses that to sleep every night. So that makes me super happy. My nephew and I have a very, very strong relationship because he connected our family. So, and I will do anything for that kid. He is so smart. I mean, every parent, aunt, and whatnot says that, oh, their kid is so amazing and smart. But this kid, he, at 2, he could finish 40-piece puzzles. And also, he makes really funny jokes too. Like the other day, he demanded that my dad call me, and so my dad calls me and said, "Hey, your nephew wants to talk to you." And I said, "Okay, great. Put him on the phone. I love talking to him." And he legitimately said, "Hi, I am super busy right now and I don't have time to talk to you because I'm playing with my fire truck." And then he gives the phone back to my dad. And my dad's just like, he's the one that actually wanted to talk to you. So I don't understand what just happened. But it was just like, he always does these little tricks on me that like, I know he's joking, but because he's a kid, I don't know if he's actually joking because he's turning 3 in April. But like, it's absolutely ridiculous about some of the stuff that he does. And I'm just like, this kid is going to go places because he is too smart for his own good. But yeah. Yeah, that one I'll go through and I'll clean up when it dries. Cleaning up just involves using more water to just hide the imperfections. And then, I'm only going to do these 2 sheets, and then I'm going to probably stop this video because it will take me too long to do the others. But at least you can see what they'll look like potentially when I'm done. Okay, let me just, if I make it darker, it will definitely probably hide it a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's harder to see now, so that's what I want. And then we're going to connect those 2 because they just, okay. And then now let's go over here and do the other ones. I'm really liking these. I know I'm super biased because I'm the one doing these, but this is such a pretty design. I got it on Canva as a stock. I decided to buy Canva Premium just because I was so in love with this design that I was like, you know what? I might as well try it. And try it we are, and here we are. I just like absolutely in love. And I know that I've mostly been working on finance stuff. It's because I've been so busy, I haven't really had time to watercolor paint. I used to, when my job wasn't so crazy, I used to be able to paint every morning. But unfortunately, my job is so crazy that I haven't had the chance. So I might change it to painting at night, which I don't like as much. But it's, the fact is I'm painting, first of all. Second of all, sorry, kind of, it's hard to do this and be, like, talk and focus. Oh, that's a little wet. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo that one, but first, this one's also wet. The problem with vellum as well is that vellum buckles when it's wet. So there's ways to mitigate it. First of all, you can let it dry like I am between each level. The second part that you can do is you can also get an iron and put a piece of paper or cloth over it and iron it out. I'm most likely not going to do that just because like I think the lamination will get it out itself. But that's just me being overly optimistic, and I'm gonna redo that that particular one. Oh, I got a little bit here, but that's okay. Imperfections happen. When I got into watercolor, it was first of all very difficult because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and a control freak, and it's kind of like pottery, which I'm learning right now. You kind of just have to let go and not worry about the end result. And that's the biggest lesson I learned from watercolor, is the fact that I have to let the paint, the water, and myself guide me. Otherwise, I'll make mistakes simply because I'm thinking. And I am an overthinker. I've always been a bit controlling as well, because I want things to be my way. But I'm also not competitive, which throws a lot of people off. But I just like, I really do want to, okay. I really do love watercolor because it's like the one thing I can do to relax in my life constantly. Like, in order for me to do it, I have to relax. I mean, granted, I'm using a template right now, but like, I'm not directly following the lines. Like you can see, the gym one is actually a little bit off center, and I'm not fretting about it because that's what makes these envelopes special and unique. They're mine, there's mistakes, and I made them. So if anybody wants to complain, make your own. Okay. Okay. And then these guys, so I'm gonna go over these ones because this should be a little bit moderate, a little bit drier than earlier. Okay. I'm also liking the fact that I'm doing this in, it's not exactly layers, but just different portions, because this is forcing me to let the paint rest before I get in. I'm not the most patient person, and so forcing me to let the paint rest while I'm doing this is kind of nice. And then so my intentions on this are, when I'm done painting all of these and making the envelopes, hopefully this time they'll turn out well, I'm going to do a big sinking fund reveal. And now I'm gonna freehand this because I won't say I know what I'm doing, but just I have enough idea. Sinking fund reveal with the binders, because I'm not I don't plan based on the budgetary constraints that I gave myself. I don't plan to start my sinking funds until what's it called? Oh, that's a little wet. Okay. Until April of this year. I might be able to start it earlier, and I think I can. I just, like, conservatively, I don't think I'll be able to start it until about April or May this year. And when I do, it will be almost as or more aggressive than my than me using my what's it called? Me saving for other expenses, if that makes sense. So And that was still a little wet, but you know what? It's okay. I am gonna clean this off a bit once this is completely finished, because I can see a whole bunch of green and I don't like that, even though the chances of it actually showing up are very, very low. And I'm hoping that as I get more confident with sharing my watercolors, I can start actually focusing more on my watercolors over my finance. The finance is mostly just for me to get my head out of the game and well, not out of the game, but just like start thinking more about the longevity of myself rather than just constantly, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. Even though I am a high income earner, I just I need to get better about myself and my life. And going on with that, this weekend was a 4-day weekend, and at least for my organization, and I have only spent the amount of money that I budgeted for. And that makes me super, super happy. Because I consider no spending outside of what I've already budgeted for. And what I do is what I've been doing is every day I look at my budget in the morning and say, like, okay, I'm gonna use $600 for groceries today. And I did that. And so when I explained on my video that didn't record or self-deleted, I had budgeted on Friday the 17th. I had budgeted out $100. I used only 70 of that, and that to me was like, I guess, mind-blowing, because I spent less than I thought I would, and also too, I just spent less than I thought I would, and that's, you know, an achievement in itself. And so I know I can make it, because my dad says he doesn't believe me. He also doesn't believe that I'm going to get down to 125 again. This year alone, I mean, this year has only been 3 weeks, but this year alone, I have lost 5 pounds already. But this is from excessive working out and excessive, I'm not really on a diet per se. I just do, I eat high protein with a lot of veggies. So, and because I eat such a high protein diet, I only really need to eat 2 meals a day because of how much protein I'm intaking. And the rest of it is water. And my breakfast is always like some kind of soup and oatmeal. So, I missed that. That one, okay. Let me redo this one. I'm gonna put this here. Okay. Okay. And then before I start the flowers, I'm gonna go through this particular one again, and try and fix it. So, okay. So now we're going on to the flowers. Okay. I want to redo this one, or at least add more here, or make it a little bit less like grainy. Okay, now we're gonna add the flowers. I'm gonna use a fuchsia for these. What I used to do is I used to get a spray bottle, and just spray my watercolors. I don't know where my spray bottle went, but and it's about to get just really quiet because I'm focusing, because I'm trying to add little details here and trying to just make it so that This is... It even looks pretty on camera. I'm very happy with this. I wish it was my own design, but I was entirely too nervous to do my own design. Because when I started watercolor, I focused only on flowers. And I actually got a few commissions on them. But I just like... I'm not where I want to be when it comes to making flowers on watercolor. But it's okay. So yeah. Let me try and see if I can clean up this green a little over here. I don't think I can, but I'm, you know, especially since the water is green. But anyway, oh, it's lifting. Okay, but very... Ooh, okay. I'm making it worse. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? This might not work, but you know what? It's worth it. And also, I'm probably gonna redo her envelope just because she's, this is my dog, by the way. Just because her envelope will probably involve some form of honey, because, her name means honey in French. When I adopted her, her adoption name was Honey. Initially, I was going to call her Sachii, which means morning light in Japanese. And almost all my dogs have been named after in Japanese, just because that's, you know, that's what we do in my family. But I was like, no. When I saw her, she was, first of all, so beautiful. She's still the most beautiful dog I've ever seen. And second of all, she is just, she's got a lot of honey tones to her. Oh, again, this is why you start off on the area where your non-dominant hand is. But yeah, yeah. So she's got a lot of honey tones to her. She's very caramelly color and just absolutely beautiful. Her eyes are almost human-like. And she just melted my heart the first time. And so I'm just like, you know what? I like honey, but I don't like honey. Let's call you something else. So I went through and I started looking at honey names in Japanese. And I didn't realize that there was one called Mitsuri. Because I was like, you know what? Hachimitsu is too expensive, is too long. And like, it's cute, but it doesn't match her. I don't want to keep yelling, Hachimitsu, Hachimitsu, you know? And so I was like, what do I do? And so I started thinking to myself that, what do I name her? And then I remember, so at the time I was dating a Mexican, and, he's like, I asked him what honey was in Spanish because I couldn't remember it in French, and he said miel. And I was like, that's perfect for her, you know? So her name ended up just being Miel, and it's been the best decision of my life. And she, like, her adoption story is beautiful too because she found me. The long story short of it, I was extremely depressed. I was really struggling with a lot of things, and at the time my PTSD was really acting up, and I didn't know how bad it was. I was getting help, but it wasn't the help that I needed. So I was just like really acting up. I felt really lonely, and I was like, you know what? I want to have something that's happy to see me when I get home. And so I decided to adopt a dog. And so I applied to like 20 something different dog agencies, just to like see if there's, I'm gonna move this around slightly, just to see if there was any dog that would like, that would want me, or if I could have a dog, you know? And so I started off with adoption agencies because I didn't have the money to get a full breed, and I didn't really have the time to have a puppy. So I did all that, and I got one hit, and it was her. And I was like, okay, she's gorgeous, you know, like she looks so friendly, she looks so sweet, you know, all this stuff. And they asked for a picture of me, and so I sent it, and they called me up within the next few hours, and they're like, she's yours, come get her. And I'm like, why? And they said, oh, it's because we think you're a good match. We need you to meet her so that we can solidify the deal and make sure that we know that she's a good fit for you. And I'm like, what do you mean? So actually, let me just try and get rid of some of the, there's some dirt on the side. And they're like, yeah, no, she's like, we think that you and her would be perfect for each other. We just need you two to meet so that we can confirm our suspicions. And I was like, that doesn't seem normal, but you know what? I don't know what this is. Okay, yeah, that doesn't seem normal, but you know, it's a 2-hour drive. There's a snowstorm coming this weekend. The weekend's the only time I can come and get her or look at her. And they're like, that's fine, we'll be open this weekend. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a terrible decision because 1, I don't like driving in the snow. 2, there's a huge snowstorm coming in. 3, just, what if she doesn't like me? And so the entire drive, I had a friend drive me because I was freaking out so badly. I was like, what if she doesn't like me? You know, like, and he kept saying there's other dogs, you know. It's not just her, even though she's gorgeous and she's such a sweetheart. She looks like a sweetheart based on the description. I'm like, yeah, but what if she doesn't like me? I would have taken you out on the snowstorm to, like, to find a dog that doesn't like me. And he goes, no, I think the dog will like you. You've got a really likable personality, and just, you need to stop worrying about it. And so, I was like, okay, you know what? You're right. Let me just, like, stop freaking out about this, and then let me meet her before I make a decision about whether or not, we're not good for each other. So we get to the adoption agency, and the woman's like, oh, you're here for Honey. Yeah. Oh, good, because she's seen 50 other people, but we know that you're the one. I'm like, that's not reassuring. Like, I spent the entire drive freaking out. The snowstorm's coming. I just, like, don't want to be involved, you know, with a dog that doesn't want me, especially one as pretty as her. And they're like, no, 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 we're completely sure. I'm like, how can you be so sure? And they said, we'll tell you after you meet her. And so I'm in the adoption center. I'm waiting in the waiting room. It's Valentine's Day, by the way, in case anyone needs to know. And I'm just sitting there waiting, and I hear scattering on the floor, and I hear, you know, the little of paws, and I'm like, okay, so either it's a different dog or she's here. And they're like, Honey, come meet your owner. And she's so scared. She's crawling on the ground, and she's just like sniffing around, and she looks straight at me, and she gets up on all fours and runs over and licks my face. And of course I'm just like, what is this? You know, like, how, what? And so they said, yeah, we knew it, and she knew it too. And I was like, how did you guys know? And they said, when I sent the picture to them, she pawed it, and that's when they knew that she had found her owner. And so the first few weeks were pretty difficult because she was an outdoor dog. She didn't know what a house was. She didn't like closed hallways, which at the time I lived in. She didn't like closed hallways. She didn't like stairs. She didn't like, well, to be fair, the stairs I lived in were really sketchy because you could see the bottom. She didn't know how to use the bathroom. She had UTI. She had a ton of surgeries I needed to pay for, just all this stuff. But honestly, she tore up all my furniture. But man, was she worth it. And so now she's turning 4 this year. They told me, the adoption agency said that she would be 5 this year. I legitimately don't think so. She still has so much puppy energy because we did the DNA test. She's a cattle dog Malamute cat hula mix, and we actually have an Instagram page regarding our adventures. It's not very active because I've been so busy with work, but she's I'll tag it below if you want to like see more adventures of her and the antics that she puts me through. Her favorite thing to do is to fart in my face in the morning, and especially when I'm sleeping. Her farts are absolutely terrible. But she goes everywhere with me. She's a trained therapy dog, and I love her to itty bits and pieces, obviously, because she's my dog. 2, just the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me, and 3, just, you know, everyone that meets her falls in love with her. Even the people that have cold hearts. So, yeah. Yeah, because I forgot to link some of the stuff that I've done below, but I'll do it later. Yeah. And then, so, I think because this is getting kind of long, 36 minutes, I am going to just do one of the text, and then I'll do the rest off camera, because it's not for, like, if you watched all this, I appreciate it, but otherwise, like, you didn't have to. I mean, because I don't really offer a lot of, I won't say I don't really offer a lot of good, it's just more the fact that you have other things to do, and my voice isn't that soothing, and, as I keep telling on all my descriptions, I'm a bit of a mess, and I am. It's just, you know. Okay, we'll do that one. These are so pretty. I'm like, and then I have to do so many more of these, but the fact is, like, this is gorgeous. I almost want to do this in permanent marker, but let me try to see how it works with watercolor. Okay, so let me just add water here. I need to get another spray bottle. Okay, so quiet because focus. And I'll go over it again after it dries, because my paintbrush is extremely wet right now. I just wanted to Can you see that? I am so happy right now. You have no idea. But anyway, thanks for being with me here. I'm going to finish these, and hopefully within the next few weeks you'll be able to see me actually use these as envelopes. Thank you. Bye.